Get ready for sports news and entertainment. All right here, your 7 minutes with Simmons starts right now.
Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the podcast, episode 45 here, 7 minutes with Simmons. We appreciate your support, and when I say we, I mean me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, as always. Where are my comments on the last episode? None to answer, guys. I got none to answer. We made a deal with each other. Didn't we do this? I said, please comment on these episodes and I will answer them in the following one. I got nothing. I got nothing to respond to today. I'm so sad. I'm so alone. I feel estranged with my audience. Come on, guys. You got to give me some things to talk about. But you know what? We got lots of stuff to talk about. Nonetheless, we're going to continue with our tour of the National Hockey League. But before that, Coldplay affairs, man. I had to talk about this. I totally forgot to mention it in a previous podcast. If anybody was paying attention to Coldplay's presence here in Toronto and what happened during some of those concerts, of course, the Rogers Stadium was heavily documented as being awful. The red light, green light played at the TTC, and the spectacular display of lights, all documented on social media from the Coldplay concert. But what else was more interesting to see than Astronomers CEO Andy Byron and his head of HR on the big screen getting exposed for their affair? I thought this was just wild, man. Wild to see, and you hate to see it as well. My heartfelt condolences and wishes of the best in the future go out to their families, as you know, an affair is obviously never something that you should take lightly. Families can be torn apart and affected, especially if children are involved. And this is definitely awful to see. But hey, talk about if you haven't seen the video, you're either living under a rock or you do not own a smartphone, in which case I don't know how you're listening to this podcast. So anybody who is listening to this podcast has probably seen the video. But if you haven't seen the video, go out and watch it. It's hilarious because to me, the best strategy to limit the virality of a video like this is to pretend like nothing happened. But as soon as these two are plastered up on the big screen, both of their faces turn with disgust. The woman flips herself around to the right, and Andy hits the deck. This guy does a full, drops into a squat, like into a push-up position. So he's totally invisible from the camera view. And of course, Chris Martin hops on the microphone and says, either they're having an affair or in his just gorgeous accent, which I love, by the way, I have to say. I went to the Coldplay concert. What a performer that guy is. So entertaining to watch him and watch Coldplay and the lights. But that's interesting from their little stint here in Toronto that they have totally exposed an affair, which I thought was quite entertaining. And along with the rest of the world, that clip went extremely viral. So go take a look at that if you haven't. And funny enough, their next stop was in Wisconsin, and Chris Martin made a statement saying, we'd like to say hello to some of you in the crowd, put some of you on the big screen is how we're going to do it. And we'd like you to be prepared. If you haven't done your makeup, do your makeup now. And it was kind of like a funny little reference to the moment they captured in Toronto, and I thought that was funny. So that brings that situation to a close. Coldplay continues with their tour. They're currently I believe they're done in Massachusetts. They've probably moved on. I'm not sure where they are now, but Coldplay touring the globe and doing it with so much love and so much color, and I'm just happy I got a taste of it here in Toronto. But quickly, let's get to the topic at hand because we continue to fail at capturing our targets here, man. Like, I can never actually just get this done in the 7-minute time frame. Today we're doing Edmonton Oilers hockey, and we're talking about what they've done this offseason. We're going to dive right in. Evan Bouchard, obviously the big one, signed to that 4-year extension. Big time money for the puck-moving defenseman who quarterbacks the power play. So exciting to see that. Trent Frederick up front signed an 8-year extension after getting traded to Edmonton earlier in the spring. He brings kind of that grit, that size, and the physical depth, ideal for the bottom six. So he comes in as well. Also added on a 2-year deal. This is Andrew Mangiapane. He's bringing in a little bit of speed, a little bit of tenacity, injecting himself into that consistent scoring role in the top six. So exciting to see that. Now also in that middle six, Curtis Lazar, 1-year deal, versatile forward, returning for depth, does some of those little things right, and really stabilizes that middle six. So we'll see how things go there. A big one. This one's interesting. Isaac Howard, acquired via a trade from Tampa Bay, signed to that 3-year entry-level deal. The NCAA Hobie Baker winner brings some scoring upside and a whole pile worth of youthful skill. So we'll see how things develop there, and we'll take a look at how he can really complement this lineup. I'm not sure if he can do it in his first season, maybe in his second season, and potentially down the line becomes a big part of this core, and we'll see how that develops. 2-year deals for depth also in the conversation. Riley Stillman and Matt Tompkins. Stillman on defense, Tompkins in goal. Solid role players, adding that organizational depth. Another interesting one, Arto Lepinen, 1-year contract from Finland, record-setting Liga defenseman with offensive upsides, looking to push for some of that NHL time across the pond. We'll see how he fits in. Quick departures, Arvidsson, Perry, and Connor Brown all gone. That's sad, but let's also take a look at some offseason rumors. Contract talks exploring with Jake Wallman and veteran Matthias Ekholm to bolster the blue line. Those guys looking to get a deal done, as well as Penn State's Mac Gadowski. A future project could be brought in at some point. Marc-Andre Fleury also rumored at potentially being pulled from retirement to mentor Skinner in a backup position, and that veteran presence could be extremely valuable coming from a 2-time Stanley Cup winner like Marc-Andre Fleury. So we'll see how those things develop. I'm going to cut it here. 7.5 minutes. That's probably good enough. Yesterday's episode was pretty long, so we'll see if we can cut this one a little shorter, hopefully, so you guys can continue on with your days and not have me waste at least 3 more minutes of it. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you next time. Peace.